Oh, but here we go. We are diving into our second semifinals and spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Cosmic Sapphire. We have our Peruvian Protoss player. He is red, representing team TGCF. It is XionS. And spawning in the top left-hand corner of Cosmic Sapphire, we have the other Peruvian player. He is blue. He is Zerg, representing team Unidos por el Vicio. It is XaviiH. No special intros. If I had another caster in the chat, if I had a co-caster today, I would totally have a special intro going, but I'm not gonna I'm not gonna hard carry a Spanish intro on my own, mate. That would be crazy. That'd be crazy. A special shout out to Darking. Usually Darking joins me for these Latin American broadcasts, but he is unavailable today, unfortunately. He has had a pretty busy week, and he is feeling a little bit under the weather, so he will not be joining me to co-cast. So unfortunately today I'm on my own with my plushies. Feels bad, man. Feels bad. I do prefer casting with a co-caster, don't get me wrong. I do think it's usually a better cast when I have someone else to bounce off of. But the show must go on. The show must go on. It's okay. It's okay. Oh boy. As we get into this again, XaviiH, I don't think I've casted him before, I'll be honest. I've seen him plenty of times in the bracket. I've even seen him in the chat before, but I don't think I've been able to cast him. So I'm really curious to see what he brings to the table here. I was talking about it earlier. XaviiH is the clear underdog in this series. Can he make something happen though? Can he punch up? Can he do something wild and insane and crazy and stop XionS from getting into SkyToss? Because that's the worrisome thing. XionS is more of a SkyToss enjoyer, not so much Blink Stalker. So we'll see, we'll see. So far so good. Pretty standard openers. XaviiH was even able to get his natural base on location at his natural. There it is. Colorzer lives in the Netherlands. There we go. Shout out to Darking, by the way. I knew it was either the Netherlands or Norway. It was one of them. I always mix them up. I apologize to any Norwegians or Netherlandians in the chat. I apologize. Polish? Dutch? That's it, Dutch. I apologize. But yeah, so far so good. XaviiH's gonna be taking his third base a little bit late of a third, to be honest. Usually we want it a little bit sooner, but that is because he's going for a bit of a Ling run by instead. Oh my god, this madman hasn't really paused. Oh, as we get a little bit of a pause here, I was about to say that the madman hasn't really been droning up at all. I was talking about how XaviiH, because he's the underdog, he wants to do something crazy, he wants to do something unexpected, and going for something like a Ling run by, I say a Ling run by. Going for a Ling all-in, a Ling flood, can definitely catch your opponent off guard. We did see that XionS opened up with a Stalker first, so we're going to have a look at what that wall is looking like. As you know what, let's just quickly go back in. We do have a full wall up so far. This is where I question the Ling flood. This is where I question the all-in here from XaviiH, because, to be honest, it doesn't take that much to wall off. Like, the natural base here is very narrow on Cosmic Sapphire. 2 buildings and 1 unit is kind of all you need.
Game resumed.
Here we go. The game has been resumed. We have a shield battery behind this. We're going to have overcharge as well. There's no Baneley Nest, by the way. This is not a bust. This is just a straight up Ling flood. Can this really work out? Here we go. The Lings, they get some nice surface area on that Cyber Core as well. Even if the Stalker doesn't go down, maybe one of the buildings will. Again, we have nothing but Lings coming in behind this. Lings on the way. And XionS, okay, he's working on a Void Ray. He did go for a Stargate follow-up, but the Cyber Core, it's going to fall. But the Overcharge is barely going to be able to keep it alive. Overcharge is a pretty good unit. We have 2 more shield batteries behind this, a secondary wall, a sentry for force fields. And with all of this, I don't think the Lynx can break in. They're gonna try the Cybercore's getting low, and yo, with the death of the Cybercore, that means no more sentries, adepts, or even stalkers are gonna be morphed in. But here comes that Void Raid. And the wall is still a full wall. I spoke too soon, the Lings flood in. But are there enough Lings? That's the question. They get a surround on the sentry. They're gonna be able to slip into the main base as well. But a lot of the momentum is not really here anymore. Probes are being forced off the line. Can the Lings, can they do even more damage? They have to deal game-ending damage, and right now, they just aren't. They get a shield battery, but a couple of Zealots are morphed in, and it looks like XionS has held. XaviiH forced to back the hell up. He still has more Lings on the way. You can't transition from this. It's just not possible. We don't have the worker count for it. We do see that XaviiH is going to try and take a third base, but like we are still committed to the all-in. Oh boy, oh boy. Yep. We still have more behind this. You know, if at first you don't succeed, try again, because why not? I mean, yo, this time the wall is completely not a wall. For nada that Zealot, it was not on hold position. The Lings are getting to the main base and into the natural probes are going to start falling. But I spoke too soon. It looks like there wasn't any target fire. The Zealots are still just holding the line. Five drones go down, and again, that's still nowhere near enough. Again, I appreciate the all-in. I mean, Joe. And XionS has like holes in his defense. Like he just keeps leaving that door open, so Lings just keep on flooding in. Just unfortunately, yeah, they're not doing what they need to do. GG gets called, and XionS takes the first game. Oof. GG. Ling flooding on Cosmic Sapphire. Bold move, Cotton. Bold move. For those who don't know, on Cosmic Sapphire, the entrance to the natural can be walled off with 2 buildings and 1 unit. And there's not that much surface area on those buildings either. We had a Stalker as that unit, which is one of the beefier of all units. We had a secondary wall being thrown down. Like, that was a very good response by XionS. He was opening up very safe. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe Cosmic Sapphire is the longest rush distance map in the map pool as well. So all of that coming together, the longest rush distance, the narrow natural, it's questionable to go for a Ling or a Ling Bane based all-in on that map. I think you can pull off like Roach Ravager all-ins. I think they can work. But Lings and Ling Bane, it's so difficult. It's so difficult. Oof, GG. It is unexpected as well, so maybe you can like go for like the surprise angle instead and be like, well, because there are so many factors that it won't work, maybe it will work, because maybe the Protoss player is going to be greedy, and maybe they don't wall off, and maybe they don't get a shield battery, and you know, all of this stuff. But you're gambling so hard if that's your mentality and if that's how you're approaching the game. So yeah, in the end, didn't work out. In the end, XionS defends, and now we get into game 2. Número 2. Oh boy, oh boy. Oh. Meanwhile, it looks like someone was trying to slip into the lobby. Shaking my head. And yeah, another interesting map here. Interesting veto process. Looks like maybe some of the more standard maps were vetoed. But we move on from Cosmic to Moondance. So, of course, Cosmic, the longest rush distance map in the map pool. Moondance, the shortest rush distance map in the map pool. But also very defensible, right? The rush distance is short, but at the same time, you can easily get like a third base up and running for a Protoss player. So I hope we don't see another Ling Flood, is what I'm trying to say. Don't do it, Xavi, don't do it. Ah. Boy, we'll see. We'll see where we end up here as we are loading on in, and we are getting ready to dance in the moonlight. I know it's getting quite late in the land of the Americas, North, South, and Central. So what better way to spend your night, spend your evening with some StarCraft? Let's go! And spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Moondance, we have the Peruvian Protoss player, the best Protoss in all of Peru, representing Team TGCF. It is XionS. Oh my god. And spawning in the top left hand corner of Moondance, we have the other Peruvian player, the Peruvian player who is currently banking up minerals right now and going across the map with a drone. Let's go! Saying have fun. It is the teal Zerg player representing Unidos por el Vicio, cheesing it up. It is XaviiH. Proxy hatchery in an interesting location. We have a gas being taken as well, so technically hatch, gas, pool. This looks like proxy roaches, I want to say, where we get like a queen here, we start spreading creep, we start making roaches across the map. We'll see, because this is going to look very sus when XionS goes for the probe scout. He rocks up across the map. He doesn't waste any time trying to delay any kind of natural. He goes straight into the main and he scouts. He sees, hold on, there's no natural base. Your pool, clearly it wasn't a pool first. Your gas is already done. Something is missing. Something is wrong. Oh, he's checking. Okay. He checks towards the south a little bit. He's going to actually check his linear third. Instead, he's looking for a proxy hatchery right now. So far, looking in the wrong direction. But he's going to turn around and he will eventually spot this. So very nice scouting here by XionS. Very nicely done. It is going to be a Roach Horn, by the way. Roach Horn thrown down behind this. It isn't going to be pure Roach. We do see that there is Ling speed on the way, which means that we're only going to have a handful of Roaches, and we're going to be flooding Lings behind that. Not going to be a bigger commitment into Roaches. So now that XionS has scouted this, it's on him to defend. He hasn't seen the Roach Horn, but he can deduce what's happening. He has enough pieces of the puzzle to kind of tie everything together and recognize that this should be Roaches coming across the map. He even has a probe here to scout and see what the first units are going to be. And we already have a second shield battery. Getting an Nexus may even be worth it as well, just for overcharge. We have a second pylon to make sure nothing gets depowered, or at least the shield batteries remain powered. The second pylon isn't in the ideal position to keep all the gateways powered, so that's a little bit scary. But there's a third shield battery. We should be seeing a third pylon soon as well. Again, XionS is responding quite well to this. It's all going to come down to the execution of XaviiH. Again, what I will say is that we still kind of have an Artosis pylon. If this pylon falls, both gateways are going to be depowered, and that's all the production of XionS. So there is potential here for XaviiH. Potential. Oh boy, as here we go, has revealed his hand. What's a little bit interesting is that he's pushing it with Roaches and no Ravagers. Question mark, that Lings flood in. Oh my god, the wall was not a wall. The Lings are diving on top of the shield battery immediately. Roaches trying to do what they can, but the Roaches are being focused down. This is falling on its face a little bit. He will get one shield battery for his troubles, but that is it. And with that, GG gets called. And XionS will take the series 2-0. We had the gas for it. I'm shocked that XaviiH didn't morph his Roaches into Ravagers. Typically, when you go for that, you get 4 Roaches. If you're crazy, maybe 5 Roaches, and you morph them all into Ravagers. And with your Ravagers, you can slowly bile away at the shield batteries and at the pylons. You can weaken the defense, and then as soon as you see like a chink in the armor, then you flood in with your Lings and you commit to a fight. That was a little bit more haphazard. It looked like XaviiH didn't really know what he wanted, or maybe like because he's up against a top tier player or a higher tier player, he was like, what do I do? I'll proxy hatch. I don't really know how to, but I'll do it. And maybe that's something that he hasn't done before, so he was just throwing stuff at the wall to see what would stick. But yeah, just fumbled a little bit in the execution there. Again, if you're at home and if you ever want to do something like this, Ravagers are typically what you want, and you want a slower, more methodical approach to dismantling that natural defense. Because honestly, I believe that if he had Ravagers, I think it could have been possible. I think he could have done a lot more there. I don't think like it would have been over then and there. Just because Zion scattered it and just because Zion was responding doesn't mean that the Zerg player couldn't have made it work anyway. So GG. GG, well played in the end. Xion's does take the series 2-0 and he moves on to the grand finals. But before the grand finals, it's that time of the tournament, it's that time of the week where we have a raffle.